Welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling, and today we are revisiting our Yay or Nay series. This is a bit more of an open discussion forum for us just to talk about pros and cons of a particular thing in wrestling. It can be anything from wrestling tropes, maybe a particular wrestler. We did Goldberg once.
Yes, we did.
And today we are discussing celebrities in wrestling. 'Tis the WrestleMania season. 'Tis an area where more celebrities get involved. We did see quite a few of them in the Raw on Netflix special, of course, or the premiere.
Well, to be fair, they weren't involved. It was just this person's in the crowd, this person's in the crowd, this person's in the crowd. Macaulay Culkin! This person's in the crowd.
Exactly. However, if you do want to see more of our Yay or Nay series, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And today, as usual, I am joined by Elder Sam. How are you today, Sam?
I am old. So therefore I've seen way more celebrities than you, and particularly being British, most of the time I'm like, I don't know who this American celebrity is. I don't watch NFL either, and they do love an American football player.
Oh, they really do.
They're obsessed with an American football player.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, Lawrence Taylor. Though he was like...
Oh, he did well.
He was a known guy to American football fans, but to non-American football fans, you are not selling that WrestleMania across the world.
No.
But before we get into this, Sam... Celebrities in wrestling. Are we celebrities? Could we, if we turned up now, would we be like, oh my god, it's the Sams, they've turned up? Have we reached celebrity stature yet?
I'm going to say one thing. No. No, we are not celebrities. Not with our current subscriber count. Although I appreciate every single one of you.
I love you all.
No, Sam. But thank you for asking the question. I want to hear your first yay, Sam, because I think I'm going to be a bit more negative, but I want to hear your first positive.
I've got kind of an even split, actually.
Okay.
I've gone with the most obvious one. It brings in mass appeal. If you get the right celebrity in, a lot of people will come and watch and go, who's that person? You can give a few very easy examples that brought names in. So these aren't wrestlers like you couldn't name The Rock, for example, but I think like Logan Paul, for example, brought in a completely mass appeal. Floyd Money Mayweather brought in a hell of a lot. But the biggest one, and I can't believe I'm going to have to mention it, is Donald Trump. That was the most bought WrestleMania of all time at that point, I do believe. It had a huge buy rate and it had nothing to do with the main events. No one cared about the main events because all that was on the posters and everything was Battle of the Billionaires. So it does bring in that mass appeal. It brings in people who might watch it once. So it's not necessarily bringing in like new audiences necessarily, but it could bring in new audience value. You could throw that as a positive. It will bring in new audiences as well as mass appeal, but like, it's the idea that it will bring people to go, oh, I want to see that person, if you get the right celebrity in.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that's the first thing I've got on my yays. Brings in new audiences.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, what you have to do is when you bring them in, you've got to then showcase your wrestlers and give them interesting segments that are actually entertaining. Otherwise, okay, you might pop a rating, but then they're not going to come back, so what's the point?
Because they're not there anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've got to make the most of it, but you can't deny they bring more eyeballs.
No, if they pick the right person, like Arnold Schwarzenegger turned up on SmackDown in like the 1999 and it just huge rating pumps up. So it does also pump a rating in some cases as well, you could say.
Yeah, my first nay is that, you can really get a wrestler over by beating up a celebrity.
I have this, can raise the profile of a wrestler by association.
Absolutely. My big one, and I think this is a lesser remembered one, I loved when Machine Gun Kelly came on 2015.
Yes.
And Kevin Owens, who just fused with John Cena, was really new, like just debuted, and he just attacks him out of nowhere whilst he's doing some kind of like concert performance on the stage.
That was brilliant.
And just picks him up, powerbombs him on the stage and off the stage. And the shot of Kevin Owens, it's a great camera shot, even in the Kevin Dunn era. He powerbombs him off the stage and you just stay with Kevin Owens like behind his head, just behind his shoulders, looking down, and he looks like a monster.
I mean, yes,
it was amazing.
You're absolutely right. And do you know what? It doesn't have to necessarily be in the wrestling thing about to raising a profile. Think about when Seth Rollins was doing all the stuff with Jon Stewart. John Stewart, remember, is massive in America. He has his own talk show. It's like our version of like Graham Norton type thing. Yeah. And he was on his show a lot, and he was on his show in character, like trying to like have a go at Jon Stewart, and they were doing skits and stuff, and then Jon Stewart obviously turned up at SummerSlam, pardon me. So literally, you can have raise the profile of a wrestler by association, and I think that actually did a hell of a lot for Seth Rollins by being known way more outside of the WWE bubble. But you're absolutely right, the idea of when they get involved with celebrity, if they get it right, is remember think about Bob Barker and Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's yeah. Literally one of mine, and we'll get onto the nays, but one of my yays, just to touch on that, is can be really funny.
Yes, yes, it can be.
Especially when it's actors, and they're good actors, and they actually, like, try and, make it funny. That Bob Barker thing, in an era that we'll get to of guest hosts, that was absolutely shocking, was hilarious. It was hilarious.
The other one I liked during the guest host era, which you wouldn't expect, was the Muppets.
Yeah,
because they did every good gag you needed to do. They had Vicky Guerrero with Miss Piggy, and they did Seamus with Beaker. They did all the correct jokes, and you're absolutely right. It is really funny. And do you know what? I've got a yay here that's very similar to what you've said, actually, just so I can tick off mine. So you've got it like can be really raise the profile of a wrestler by doing something, but you could also say can be a shocking moment, such as the powerbomb, but like Triple H attacking Arnold Schwarzenegger was a shocking moment, sort of thing. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you've done that," type thing. Lawrence Taylor actually is a shocking moment. Bam Bam attacked him at the Royal Rumble, I believe, before obviously setting up their WrestleMania match. So the shocking moments, because you're not expecting things to happen to a celebrity. So they're absolutely fair enough. Sam, some nays. Let's get some nays. We've done a lot of positivity to start off with.
Okay, so my first one is it takes time away from actual wrestlers.
Yes, it really does.
Especially on events like WrestleMania, where often, like you said, Kane and RVD lost out, or was that to a women's thing?
They were technically celebrities.
I thought there was a concert going on or something.
No, the Miller Lite girls. They were girls who advertised a beer in America.
Exactly.
Were all over the show, and RVD and Kane, along with Regal and Lance Storm, were bumped off the card.
And that doesn't seem right. And ultimately, a lot of fans, I think like 20% are going to be like, oh yeah, it's these people. A lot of wrestling fans just want to see wrestling. That's why we turn wrestling on, not other channels on, because we don't want to see those celebrities, we want to see wrestling.
Yeah, I've got a couple based on what you've just said, so we're going to have a little ticker parade going across that. I don't want them. I don't really care. I would say 90% of wrestling fans don't care when a celebrity turns up. Not interested. If you get it right, and it leads to something good or whatever, fair enough. I'm okay with that. The Donald Trump thing, for example, at WrestleMania, it doesn't matter if you like Donald Trump or not. That was a big deal. It's before everything happened, with the presidency and stuff, but that was a big deal at the time.
Absolutely.
But most of the time, when a celebrity turns up, everyone goes, I just don't care. I want to watch wrestling. I want to watch the storylines. Because I'll carry on, actually, by having celebrities turn up, breaks kayfabe.
Right, yeah.
All the time. And I know kayfabe's dead, but I'm talking about, like, they get involved and suddenly the Muppets are in the same world as WWE, for example. Yeah. And you're like, really? And then some people are playing their movie characters. So, like, do you remember, like, the guy McLovin? I don't know his name. Whatever the guy who's like in a film during the
McLovin.
It's not McLovin, but I've forgotten his name. He's one of the guys from SNL, and he's with Kristen Wiig, and they hosted Raw.
Stephen Amell.
No, it wasn't him. But they were in character from a movie they just shot, rather than being Kristen Wiig and this person. You're like, this is just nonsense, and I don't want to see kind of the wrestling be broken down and not feel real, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's especially the case when they beat up other wrestlers, isn't it?
That's my next nay. Should we do that?
Yeah.
They always win. Has a celebrity lost a match?
Not a match, no. Sometimes they get beaten up, but if they go, I'm going to have a match. Did Bad Bunny beat Damien Priest?
Yeah.
And Johnny Knoxville beat Sami Zayn, but we're not complaining about that necessarily.
Yeah. But even good matches.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say necessarily
Floyd won.
That the wrestlers always look weak.
Did Tyson Fury beat Braun Strowman?
Tyson Fury, they had a count-out victory,
right,
I believe.
Right.
But so literally the wrestler always looks weak because they always lose. Kevin Federline has a win against John Cena. Britney Spears' ex-husband and backup dancer has a win. And yes, people go, oh, people interfered. I don't care. They literally, your wrestlers, the people you're trying to put over, and the people are coming to watch, they're going, why should I care about John Cena? He lost to Kevin Federline. Like, they always... Exactly. Literally exactly is the problem. And he was involved in WWE for months. He cost John Cena the World Heavyweight Championship at Taboo Tuesday card, or Cyber Sunday, whichever one it was. So yeah, to me, the breaking of kayfabe, the fact that they are stronger, they can wrestle, like, really well. Like, they can outgun them. And you're like, guys, you guys look weak.
Well, the problem is twofold, because for us wrestling fans, it just undermines us. We don't like it, but also the fans you're trying to get in, they're watching because there's celebrities involved.
Yeah.
So if they are watching, because Hugh Jackman's on Raw, if you have the celebrities beat up the wrestlers, you make wrestling look stupid.
Yeah.
You make wrestlers look stupid. So they'll go, oh, they did that thing, but why would I watch these guys if Hugh Jackman's not there because he just beat them up? It gives you no incentive to go and watch wrestling. It gives you no intrigue to the characters, to the story. So they're going to watch that clip, and you might, again, pop a rating or pop some interactions on Twitter or whatever, and then they go, and then obviously those fans aren't going to come back and watch the wrestlers that have just been... I take Wayne Rooney, okay, that's us for British
yes,
fans.
yes. Was
So
it
that's-
Wade Barrett?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's one of the few celebrity references and cameos that I've understood, who I know who that is.
Yeah, you don't understand any of this.
No, exactly. So I understand. So I can look at that from an American wrestling fan's point of view. And he just came in and did the most pathetic slap to Wade Barrett. Apparently, he didn't even really want to do it.
No.
And
He's quite, you know,
he didn't
shy,
want to,
he's a shy
He just
bloke,
wanted to take his
really.
kids to the wrestling, but he did it, and it looked like a pathetic slap. And it made me embarrassed to be a football and wrestling fan at the same time. I'm like, you've done well there, lads, in one segment. And I don't see why any football fan would watch that and go, oh yeah, that wrestling. I might watch some wrestling now that Wayne Rooney's done that really fake slap to Wade Barrett. So
when you get it right, people will come back. And I think the two that's in mind is Kevin Owens doing the powerbomb, because someone can go, I need to watch what this guy's going to do again. If he's going to do that to Machine Gun Kelly, like, what's he going to do to somebody else? And then obviously Triple H attacking Arnold Schwarzenegger. You go, this Triple H bloke, he don't care. He's going after Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's beating up Arnie and stuff like that. Even though I think Arnold, you know, even if Arnold gets like the better, Triple H attacked first and stuff like that. That works. It creates that shocking moment. But if like literally you come in and Seth Green wins a tag team match, you've lost all appeal. Stephen Amell, is he even undefeated? Has he lost a match yet?
Yeah.
David Arquette won the world title. All right?
Obviously.
Oh, well done. It pops a rating. but guess what? It made every single person look like the weakest human being. And guess what? WCW died that day officially. They were already in the woods. They were already drowning. And then suddenly, David Arquette world title, and everyone just went, that's it. I'm gone. I'm out of it. I don't care. And speaking of don't care, some of the celebrities don't care.
Yeah.
And that is a real problem, because you can actively see them not caring. When you've got someone there who doesn't care, we talk about it with Brock Lesnar all the time. You go, well, Brock's clearly don't cares about this match. And we moan about it. Why would we care about, the people like Al Sharpton, the Reverend Al Sharpton was like, you don't want to be there. Jerry Springer doing this weird gimmick with the Bellas and stuff like that. Ozzy Osbourne doing the things. They don't care. They weren't interested. Some, are just there for a paycheck because they've been booked in. Oh, I've got to advertise the thing. Let's take a Hall of Famer, Drew Carey, right? Are you telling me at any point during that he tried or cared? Because the answer to that question is no. He literally had 3 segments on the Royal Rumble. I'll go through all 3, right? The first one is he meets up with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H says something, and Drew goes, well, I've been really busy. I haven't really been watching the wrestling. Oh,
Great.
thanks, Drew.
Cheers
Thanks.
Drew.
Let's put over your pay-per-view special next weekend, but you come on, why not just say, oh, that Edge and Christian Dudley's match was really good that just happened, or just say, Triple H, you've been really mean recently. No, and then Vince comes in and goes, you're in the Rumble. And then he's in there, and Harvey Whippleman hands him, some gear, and Kane walks by, and he goes, who's this weird guy in the mask? And you're like, thanks! He's only going to go 60 minutes
Why would
later.
you also say that about a man who's clearly jacked and 7 foot?
And then obviously in the Royal Rumble, yes, it was funny, by the way,
Yeah,
but you can be funny by having planned spots, the offering money and all that, the pandering to the crowd, then high five. He didn't care. He didn't want to be there. And yes, it's famous, but at the end of the day, I'm just watching a person going, thank you for the free advertisement for my pay-per-view. At no point will I advertise yours.
Yeah, pretty much, and that is one of my nays. It is often awful. I think more often than not, it's not good. I'm not being funny. The Raw general managers did stat pad that statistic heavily.
Should we mention that now? Then I was going to end on that one, but we'll do that. It ruined Raw.
Yeah.
Literally, celebrity involvement ruined Raw. So when people go, why did I stop watching in 2008 to the 9? I always say Cena, Randy, and Triple H. I was done. I'm sick of watching them over and over and over again. But the main reason is Raw became unwatchable.
Yeah.
It was unwatchable. If you got through 2009 era and a bit of 10, was it?
I think it ended about 10. I think it probably ended at
because doesn't the anonymous general manager turn up here at some point, right? So let's just make, because that's WrestleMania 27. So what year is that? WrestleMania 27.
That's 2011, but
that's 2011. So the anonymous general comes after this. So let's make this clear, right? If you got through Raw in 2009, you are one of 2 people. You were a child, or you were so dedicated to wrestling that you love wrestling, you're going to watch any wrestling, good or bad, and there are some people who do that, but also you are one of these people who just yearns for the Attitude Era to come back. You're one of those people who go, I know it was good, it will come back, and we clinged on, and thankfully I would argue it is as good as it ever has been now.
Absolutely.
So you could say that the people who clung on have been rewarded for clinging on, and people have come back from the Attitude Era, but the people who were there watching in 2009 and 10 were just clinging on, hoping for it to be good again, and even I dropped out watching weekly. And I don't think I've ever recovered from a weekly standpoint. I don't watch it weekly. You know, I phase in and out on the Raws and the SmackDowns, not because mainly I'm busy and stuff like that. The Netflix era is, bring me back. It's much easier for us now to do it, and it's not on BT Sport, or it's not 1 a.m. and then the replay is hard to find or whatever. But that really did kill me watching it on a weekly basis. You were a child. So...
I was a child. I fell into that category and I didn't really know any better. But I when I was a kid, I didn't know who 95% of these people were anyway.
That's another problem.
So I was just kind of going through all the clips on WWE.com and just finding the matches, and I never really watched these celebrity segments because they were nonsense. It was shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Let's do a few yays then.
Yeah, sure.
It adds a unique dynamic to a show.
Yeah.
Like, it's an edge that you can't recreate in storyline. We'll go Donald Trump. You can't do Battle of the Billionaires without another billionaire.
Yeah, sure.
And you can't create a billionaire character because they're a wrestler, for example. Like Ted DiBiase couldn't do that gimmick because they're going, you're a wrestler. But the Battle of the Billionaires, everyone was there going, I wonder if they're actually going to shave Donald Trump's head. You cannot create that dynamic without the celebrity. Money Mayweather versus The Big Show. You couldn't have that dynamic without it being Mayweather. And even Logan Paul, the YouTuber, going, this guy YouTube wrestling, is he going to wrestle, he's going to be a YouTuber. You can't create that thought process without the celebrity involvement. So you have to admit that they are super important. If you get the right person and you book them in the right way, it's something that is exciting to watch because you go, I actually don't know what they're going to do, or at least I know how it might end, but I don't know how they're going to do the whole of it. For example.
One of the bullet points I've got is just the word different, because it just gives you different storytelling opportunities with different people, absolutely. And my last yay is that, again, sometimes the celebrities, as you've said, do try, and then they're great, like Bad Bunny, Logan Paul. Stephen Amell was quite good. Johnny Knoxville.
So you've gone when they try to learn to wrestle, for example.
Yeah, or when you can see they care or they're a fan.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny, Logan Paul has tried as well. He does fall into that category.
Yes, he does.
Like
yes, he does. I mean, he no longer counts as a celebrity anymore because he's now a full-time wrestler. But at the time, he was. Fair play to, I'm going to say, Stephen Amell, because I believe he is the first one to do it properly. I think Lawrence Taylor did a great job. I think he's the number one. Yeah. People will go, well, about Mayweather. I went, no, I think the match sucks. I personally hate the match. I think they literally do as much workaround as they can. They do a very amazing workaround. But in terms of in-ring wrestling, Lawrence Taylor was the first, but then they didn't do it again properly. I've been in the ring for years. And in terms of this new wave, Amell started it, but in reality, it was Bad Bunny's performance, just blew everyone away at 37. And then obviously Logan Paul at 38. And then from that point on, everyone was like, do you know what? People want to come in and they want to try. They're not getting in celebrities to wrestle anymore who aren't going to give it a go. Yeah,
absolutely. So that is fun to watch, admittedly.
Yeah. So literally, you say about committed. I've got that as a yay and a nay. So we've got those who commit. Think about Shatner just singing the wrestlers' theme tunes.
I do remember that.
That's going to go in my Hall of Fame one day. I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. It's very funny. And then you have those who don't commit, which is different to don't care, right? Very similar, but don't commit in terms of they don't want to look embarrassed, you know, and they don't try to wrestle. Like people who do like a terrible... Think about Snooki at WrestleMania. And you're like, are you telling me she committed? Are you telling me the girl who clearly has a little bit of athleticism couldn't have worked a little bit of a bigger match or done some more things? No, do your springboard thing and then do the really terrible stuff. Go and commit to do 2 or 3 weeks of work before you go and turn up in front of 60,000 people or however many it was at WrestleMania 27. Oh, God, that's a terrible pay-per-view.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think we've covered most of it. I think
I've got a few. Yeah.
I think, just to summarise, I do have a bullet point that just says, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Whenever it happens, I don't even care. Again, if it's someone I know like Wayne Rooney, it doesn't matter to me. I don't watch wrestling for other celebrities. I watch wrestling for wrestling, and I understand why they do it. But I never am excited when any celebrity gets involved. And another point I've got, which is my last one, they're usually promoting something. And I don't want a wrestling segment or a storyline to be an advert for something. I don't want to be preached at or sold to when I'm just trying to watch some wrestling.
Drew Carey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I wrote through the ones I've got left. I've got some kind of small ones or some that are very similar to ones we covered. Yay is cross-branding. If you get the branding right, it does cross-brand. Like WWE, as much as we hate the titles, the amount of people who are walking around with a WWE title in like NFLs and hockey players and all that sort of get their own title, Champions League, footballer winners get it. And you're there going, there's a giant WWE logo on the screen, and that's what branding is about. Welcome to the world of branding. It sucks, I hate it, but cross-branding really works in wrestling if you get it right. Some don't because they brand their thing or they promote their thing and then it doesn't go the other way. I've got two more nays, and I'll end on a yay. Sure. My first one is some don't fit into the world at all. Even if they try or do well, as the Muppets. The Muppets was great fun, but it doesn't fit in. You don't work in the world. You know, so when they get a football player in, I'm fine with that. I don't know who they are. Because it's an American audience. But think about WrestleMania 2. They did a great job, those footballers in that battle royal. It's probably arguably the second best match on the card. You know, they did a great job. So for me, it's when they turn up and you're like, you shouldn't be here. You don't work. It's weird. I think Pee Wee Herman, WrestleMania 27 again. Yeah. And you're there going, what are you doing here? Who are you for? You don't fit in here, even if your character worked. It's awful to me. I think the one I've got, really, to finish off the nays is it never leads to any lasting impression.
Of course not.
I don't think any celebrity involvement has ever led to more viewers staying or coming the next day or the wrestler being able to do anything more afterwards.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul became a wrestler afterwards, so I don't think it counts. Okay. But I get your point. I'll concede it, but I think he became a wrestler. No, yeah. So I don't, like, for example, if Logan Paul didn't turn back up again, would the people who are Logan group had stayed? Don't think so. It's slight. But who knows, right? But I'm thinking, generally speaking, I'm talking a few things. Not the audience staying, but think about the lasting impression. The wrestler always ends up looking weak, as I said earlier, but then they don't end up doing anything. You know, they might have a I'm an embarrassed for a month storyline, and that's about it. How often does a celebrity thing happen, and then the next week there's a thing, a lasting impression based on it? Usually they just end up not being on the show a lot of the time.
I'm not saying this is a positive, but you had Jon Stewart actually decide one of the title matches at SummerSlam. It was not a consequence, but it was not good.
Yeah, but I meant that then the end that finished, and Jon Stewart was gone, and they never, you know, they did. I think he was on Raw, and then after he's gone, there was nothing that happened afterwards. Jon Cena just won the title back anyway. The next month, the United States Championship. It didn't mean anything. There was no lasting things. But you're picking out small things.
Trying to play devil's advocate.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. My final yay, and I think it's actually the most important yay from a WWE standpoint, and maybe the world we live in now as wrestling fans, right? Because who knows what would happen. Without celebrity involvement, I don't think WWE would be here right now.
Okay, you go WrestleMania 1.
WrestleMania 1 was sold on the pretense of Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, and then they had so many celebrities turn up, like Muhammad Ali, Liberace was there, Aretha Franklin, I think, sung. That might have been WrestleMania 3. Oh, that was WrestleMania 3. But, you know, it was Ray Charles, wasn't it? I think. But they had lots of big celebrity names, but obviously Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper, because they'd been properly cross-branding, because Hulk Hogan had been on Saturday Night Live, and Cyndi Lauper obviously had been walking around, and, you know, she'd been doing I think they started MTV, and
Hulk Hogan was in Rocky as well.
Well, that was a little bit of things that helped, but no, I think it was before. Okay. No, because he had a problem with the UWA, like not being able to do the AWA, not being able to do that type of thing. You know, you're not allowed to be bigger than the AWA and all that jazz. So Hogan obviously was big. Vince McMahon had made, but WrestleMania wasn't big. WrestleMania wasn't the draw as it is now. You know, you don't need celebrities now. People are going to come for WrestleMania. But then no one did. It was a big punt. If it failed, WWE probably would have gone bankrupt and out of business. So what would have happened? AEW wouldn't exist now.
Who knows?
There wouldn't be an AEW. You know, would WCW have took over? Would we gone back to territories? Who knows? It's a complete unknown question. I would look. We might make it a round table. We might do a hypothesize, do a bit of research ourselves. What would have happened if WrestleMania 1 had failed? But let's be honest, we have to hold our hands up, and without celebrity involvement, WrestleMania 1 most likely wouldn't have worked. If they just did WrestleMania 1 as a wrestling event and spent as much money as they did on it, because they made it closed circuit and you could go buy tickets at cinemas and stuff like that. If it hadn't have worked, and they just did it on wrestling, I don't think people would have turned up. And so for me, that's how important celebrity is in wrestling. So, any others you want to throw out there while we're there?
No, I think I'm done. I think that sums it up,
I think that is a proper pro and con list of years, and there's a lot of very similar ones. Essentially, I don't care and they don't care, sort of thing. But What do you think about celebrities in wrestling? Is there any that we've missed? Celebrities we haven't talked about? What did you think of the Raw era with celebrities turning up every single week? Even when it was wrestlers turning up, it didn't work. You know, like
No.
Batista hosted one of them, for example.
And Bret Hart actually returned
Yeah.
as a guest host.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah.
What do you think? Please let us know in the comments below. Go and like, share, and subscribe. Go and also follow us on X and Blue Sky and follow us on TikTok, all the things like that. And we will see you next time on our Yay and Nay series. Au revoir, goodbye.